went 1-1 on the weekend, and I was just thinking about what to say when I came over here, and there's all sorts of excuses you could throw out there. It was a long road trip. LSU got better, but we've talked about being the team that we want to be, and that was a match that I'd like back. And the thing I talked to our team about as we were leaving the airplane is the thing we talk about the most, and that's our response to mistakes, our response to losses. And we're playing a team, Florida, that just lost to South Carolina, that's in the same boat as us, of being a little bit vengeful, a little bit, frustrated in how we respond to it, and respond to it better than Florida is going to matter. So looking forward to the challenge, and I think mostly looking forward to being back in front of the 12th man again.
Perfect. We'll open it up to questions. We'll go second row on the left, Alex.
Yeah, this seems like a pretty pivotal 3-game stretch for you guys. You got Florida and then Arkansas and Texas are obviously at the top of the standings. Just, pulling from maybe some of those bigger matches you played from earlier this season, what do you hope your team can maybe take from those going into this stretch where you're going to play 3 really good teams, trying to be on the other side of it in the big-time matches this time?
I think the first one is just this 3-game road trip that we went on. I think I liked at the beginning of it. It was just one game at a time, 1 point at a time. And it was, what do we need to do to win this? And it was different things in different matches. So I think that of looking to, one, improve ourselves, just the way the schedule worked out, we really didn't have time for that. So these first couple of days of practice will be about that. And then turning the page to how do we beat Florida, and then turning the page to how do we beat Arkansas, and then turning the page to how do we beat Texas. So I think it's the 1 point at a time mentality. It's the grinding mentality, and I think we got to that in pieces of this last match, but it wasn't there the entire time. So I think those pieces and playing good volleyball over long stretches.
Any more questions? We'll go back to Alex on the second row.
You said last week, being on the road, you spend a lot of time together. Just what'd you learn about your team through a 3-game road trip when you have so many hours and all you got is yourselves?
Yeah, I'm always an observer of groups. It's one of the things I love doing, and we go out to dinner whenever we get to a city, to a place, and sit them down in different combinations of people. And I just like the way that our team is interacting with each other, that there's a lot of love going around from different people. Logan, after our Ole Miss match, I was just watching it back, and she just said this is the closest team she's ever been on. And I think it's those little interactions that I'm loving the most and learning the most about, that we have a bunch of people that care deeply about each other.
We'll go to TV row in the back.
Yeah, just Florida up first. What are some key things that you guys need to do to get a win against them on Friday?
Yeah, there's a little bit of us, and the one thing just in the LSU match, and any coach you ever talk to, is going to be the age-old boring response of serve and pass. But I think we need to be able to put pressure on them from the service line and make some changes there. And then I think from a passing standpoint, going back to being the rock-solid team that we have been for the entire season. And then we're dangerous. On top of that, just they have, there's a core of probably 3 really good opposites in the conference, and they have one of them on their team. So being able to shut her down. And then I'm curious to go look at, they struggled against South Carolina. They've had some struggles this year, and really pinpoint where people have struggled and make sure we're picking on those weaknesses as much as we can.
We'll stay on TV row on the right-hand side to Ben.
Coach, last year Florida was, especially on the road, a real big signature win for you guys. And, I know they came back here and got you back here. But I'm wondering just the experience of playing them last year, both, the good and the bad from those 2 results, what you guys, especially for the returners, would take away from just what that experience was like of, beating an elite opponent at their place, and then also knowing it never gets easy regardless of where you're playing.
Yeah, I think it just added this layer of humanity that everybody is beatable, that we're good enough to go out and beat anybody. And I think there's that this year. I think we're not afraid of anybody. And I know Texas is ahead in the standings, and I know they were, 2-time defending champions, and they came in here with a little bit of gusto, but our team didn't back down. And I think that started with that Florida match. And it was just this feeling like, hey, we're on to something. We're good enough to go out and do this. We just need to figure out how to do it over and over again. So for me, that's the number one thing that came from that. And I thought we came into the second Florida match. I remember, I think we won the first set. We were pretty handily in the second, and things flipped. And I think we're playing with a little bit of a chip on our shoulder, and it started with that first match.